Welcome to yoga. Today we're going to be incorporating some exercises to help reconnect with and strengthen our pelvic floor. This is a really important area of the body for anyone who's just had a baby. I'm sure we've all experienced bladder weakness to varying degrees after giving birth, and it's also a really important part of developing and strengthening your core muscles. So the only thing you're going to need for your practice is maybe a yoga block, and then apart from that, just yourself and your body. So when you're ready, we'll come to lie down on our back. So you can practice these exercises seated, but we'll begin on our back. So have your knees bent, your feet or your ankles somewhere under your knees. Just let your lower back flatten down into the floor. So you can start by just tipping the pelvis slightly forwards and backwards to feel that grounding through the lumbar curve of your spine. Rest your hands on your belly. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And breathe all the way into your belly. So with your hands on your belly, you can notice your belly rise as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, let your navel, your belly button, fall back down towards your spine. So a deep breath in, filling the belly. So try and breathe all the way into the belly. So try not to let the chest move too much as you breathe. So nice deep belly breath. And then a full exhalation. Once more. And then bring your attention to your pelvic floor. So if you're struggling to sort of isolate those muscles, you can imagine that you need a pee and you're trying to hold it. So drawing up on those muscles, but keep your glutes relaxed. So just those internal pelvic floor muscles. Contracting and then relaxing. And then they're going to connect that with the breath. So breathe in once again to a soft belly, breathe all the way into your tummy. And then as you breathe out, draw up on those pelvic floor muscles. So slight tucking of the tailbone. Think about pushing your lower back down into the floor as you engage those pelvic floor muscles. And then breathe in, relax everything, let the belly be soft as the lungs fill with air. And then once again, breathing out. Flatten your lower back into the floor as you engage your pelvic floor. Breathing in. So a little visualization technique if you're still struggling with that pelvic floor activation. If you imagine a string going from behind your belly button to the top of your pubic bone, as you contract your pelvic floor, think about shortening the length of that string, and that's going to help you with that pushing down of the lumbar spine. So one more of those soft inhalations, and then contract the pelvic floor, breathing out, holding, and then relaxing. So I'm going to bring a bit more movement. I'm going to keep that same breath, but use a little bit more movement. So hands by the side of the body, breathing into a soft belly, and then as you breathe out, contract pelvic floor, start to lift the hips slightly this time. So squeezing pelvic floor as you lift the hips, and we'll hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then inhale, rolling all the way back, relaxing as you come down. Exhale, push down into the feet, contract pelvic floor, tuck your tailbone as we lift up. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then inhale, relax. Let the body be heavy as we come back down to the floor. Once more, exhaling, pushing that curve of the back down into the floor, tuck the tailbone, lift the hips, squeeze that pelvic floor. For 3, 2, 1, and then roll all the way back down to the ground. Right, now we're going to incorporate the arms into this a little bit. So this time as we inhale, float the arms all the way up and back down behind you. And then exhale, contract the pelvic floor, lift the hips. And leave the hips where they are. As you inhale, bring the arms back to the side of the body. And then exhale, come all the way back down. So twice more we're going to do that. So inhale, lift the arms up, let them come back behind you. And then exhale, contract pelvic floor, lift the hips. Inhale, hands float back down, let the hips stay lifted. And then exhale. So once more. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, engage pelvic floor, lift the hips. Inhale, float the arms up and back to the side of the body. And then exhale. Let the hips come all the way back down to the floor. And step the feet together. Take the arms out to the side. We're just going to rock the knees gently from side to side. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. This is a really nice exercise if you've got any lower back issues, particularly sort of SI joint problems. And then come back to center. And then we're going to step the feet a little bit wider. So feet come somewhere to the edges of your mat. And then we're going to rock knees from side to side, but this time the knees come down a little bit further towards the floor. And then to the other side. So nice slow movements. You can connect your breath and your movement, so maybe breathing out to bring the knees down towards the floor, bringing up the knees to center, and then to the other side. And then when the knees get back to center, hug your right knee in towards you. Maybe make some little circles with that knee, starting to work into your hip. We're going to come over into a twist. So that right knee is going to come all the way to the left side. So you can straighten your left leg, or you can keep a little bend in the leg. We're going to roll all the way onto the left side. So your left hand can hold your right knee, stretch your right arm out to the side. Maybe let your gaze fall in the direction of that right hand as well. So don't worry about how far over that knee is coming. Just take a nice deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, let your right shoulder, your right leg get nice and heavy. As you ease your way into your twist. We'll come all the way onto the back. Hug the knees in again. And then bring your right foot to the floor. So left knee hugs into the chest. Make some small circles. Any movements that feel nice in that left hip. And then we're going to come into our twist. So you can keep a slight bend in that right knee, or you can extend it all the way along the floor. And then use your right hand to guide your left arm over the body. So left arm comes out to the side. Maybe gaze over towards that hand. Deep breath in. And a full breath out. Once more, breathe in. And out. And rolling onto your back. Hug the knees in towards you. And this time we are gonna take shins at a right angle to the floor. Again, come back to that idea of flattening your lower back into the mat. So if this is too much for you, you can do it with knees bent and toes resting on the floor. You can have your hands by the side of the body, or you can take your hands to your hips to find that sort of grounding through your lower back. So as we exhale, contract pelvic floor, lower your right toes down towards the ground. So tap the toes on the floor. Inhale, bring the knees back to center. Exhale, left side. So keep your right toes pointing up to the floor. As you exhale, really engage pelvic floor as you lower those toes down towards the ground. You can even think of drawing your hip bones in towards each other, and that's going to help you flatten out the lower back. Come back to center as you breathe in. Exhale, lower through your right toes. Tap those toes on the floor, and then inhale, come back up. So exhale, really engage those pelvic floor muscles. So drawing up, zipping up through the front of the body. So it's like you're bringing your hips round towards each other. Touch those toes down. Inhale, come up. So we'll do 2 more on each side. Exhale, really push that lower back down into the floor. Inhale, come back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze those pelvic floor muscles. Inhale to relax, and last one, exhale. Inhale to relax, hug the knees in, maybe rock from side to side if that feels nice. And then we're going to come into a little variation on that, a little bit more challenging. So you can stay with that first variation if that was enough for you. As we're going to bring knees back over the hips, so shins parallel with the floor. Push down that lower back into the floor, and then as you exhale this time, we're going to extend your right leg, so your heels hovering just above the floor. Again, think about pulling the front of those hips towards each other to help push the lower back down into the ground. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, extend your left leg. So if you want somewhere in between, you can just extend your leg on the sort of diagonal. If you want a little bit more, lower the heel down to hover just above the ground. Inhale, bring it back. So exhale, slight tucking of the tailbone as you draw up on the pelvic floor. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, extend the left leg. Push down through the lower back, draw up through the pelvic floor. Inhale, come back to center. Right, once more on each side. Really pushing the lower back down to activate through the pelvic floor. Extend the right leg. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left. Really push out through your heel to find that activation down the leg. And then inhale, come back to center. Hug those knees in towards you. You're hopefully feeling nice and warm through your core after that. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way back to sitting, or up to sitting. And find a cross-legged seat. If cross-legged sitting isn't comfortable for you, you're always welcome to kneel as well. And it can sometimes be nice to sit up on a block or just a blanket, just to raise the hips slightly. So when you're sitting comfortably, just take your attention to your posture for a minute. So you want to sit nice and tall. Again, connecting with your pelvic floor and your core. So when we try and sit or stand with a nice tall posture, that's automatically going to switch on all those abdominal muscles. So trying to sit nice and tall. So you inhale, take the arms up. So getting nice and long through the spine. And then as we exhale, bring your elbows down to shoulder height. Inhale, draw your elbows back, so shoulder blades moving towards each other. Spread the fingers. And then as you exhale, really draw your navel in, activate through pelvic floor, twist to your right. So lead with your right shoulder as much as you can. Really draw the belly in. And then when you've twisted as far as you can bring your hands down. So that left hand is going to come towards your right leg and your right hand is coming behind you. Try and push your heart forward as you move into your twist. Maybe even take the gaze behind you. One breath here. And bring your gaze back to center. Let the arms unravel. And then inhale, lift those arms. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, pull the elbows back. So elbows at shoulder height, fingers spread. And then exhale, draw your navel towards the spine as you activate through pelvic floor. And we're going to twist to the other side. So keep those elbows drawing back, lean back into that left shoulder, and then when you've twisted as far as you can, your left hand comes behind, right hand towards your left knee. Push your heart forward between the line of your shoulders. Maybe take the gaze behind you. Really draw up on the pelvic floor as you breathe out. One more breath. Bring your gaze back to center. Release the hands. Maybe shrug the shoulders. That feels nice. And then we're going to come into a child's pose. So you can take your block up towards the top of your mat. Bring your knees together. And we'll take the hands forwards. So finding some nice length through the arms, through the spine. Lower your forehead towards the floor. Just take a nice breath here. And then we'll push up into a tabletop position. So we're going to take the knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. And we'll take some circles with the hips. So just circling in one direction, finding some movement in the spine. And then take those circles in the other direction. And then come back to your tabletop. Bring the knees together. And we're going to extend the right leg behind. So your heel lifts up to hip height. Put your toes down towards the floor. And then notice if your right hip has lifted. And see what it feels like to turn that hip down towards the floor. Again, activate pelvic floor, draw your navel up towards your spine and try and keep your back nice and flat. So if there's a sort of tendency to arch the back, see if you can lift the belly so the back goes nice and flat. So you can stay there, we're going to stay for 3 breaths. If you want a bit more, you can extend your left hand. So keep breathing. Maybe look down to the floor in between where your hands were. One more breath, reaching out through fingertips if they're lifted, pushing back through your heel. And then hands back to the floor if you lifted it, toes down to the ground. So we're going to take your left foot just out to the side slightly, so maybe coming off the side of your mat. You might like to use a block here under your left hand. So we're going to come into a sort of side plank variation. Bring your right foot down to the floor, so heel to the ground, and then lift through your right hand. So again, find your strength from your core. So navel draws towards spine, activate pelvic floor, so drawing up on those pelvic floor muscles. Particularly if you sore through the wrists, come up onto a block to give you a bit more height, and that's going to take some of the pressure out of the wrist. Take your right hand up towards the ceiling. So push down into that foot as much as you can. And lift up through your hand. Push the hips forward slightly. Gentle engagement of the glutes. And try and have your left hip stacked over your knee. So that might involve sliding that right foot a little further away. And then really activate through your core. Next, we're going to lift that right foot off the ground. So see if you can bring that heel up to hip height. Use as much strength as you can in your core. So coming nice and light on that bottom hand, as much as you can. Find your strength and your balance from this muscle group here. So really drawing in, zipping up through the front of the body. Going to hold for 2, 3, and then lower back to the floor. Come back to your tabletop, all fours, and then we're going to sit back onto the heels. Bring your block with you. Inhale, lift up to kneeling and place the block between your thighs. Take your hands to your heart. Once again, think about breathing out, draw up on your pelvic floor, zipping up through the front of the body. So it's like hip bones moving towards each other. So really active through those internal muscles. And then as you exhale, lean back slightly. So try and keep the spine nice and straight. Inhale, come back. So we're going to do 2 more of those. So exhaling, really gather together all these muscles to find the strength. And then on the exhale, moving back. Squeeze the thighs together on your block. Inhale. Once more. So you don't have to move back very much, but really squeeze the thighs together. So squeezing the thighs is going to help you activate through pelvic floor. And then come back to kneeling. You take your block back to the front of your mat, and we're going to step forward with the right foot. So lunge those hips forward. Maybe take your hands to the front knee, opening through the front of that left hip. And then draw everything back so that your shoulders are over your hips. Reach up with your hands. And then just as we did in our seated twist, we're going to bring elbows to shoulder height with cactus arms, spread the fingers. And then as you exhale, think about drawing in your belly, activate through pelvic floor, and a twist to the right. Squeeze both of your legs in towards the center of the mat. So really strong through the legs. And when you've twisted as far as you can bring your left hand to your right knee. And maybe open up through that right hand. So strong through the legs. Belly draws in to activate through those core muscles. Then we're going to come all the way back to the start and bring that front foot towards back foot, and we'll take a nice deep breath in our child's pose. Deep breath in and full breath out. And then come back to your tabletop. So hands under shoulders, knees slightly together, so not touching but close together. And then inhale, we're going to raise our left leg behind. So again, flex your foot so you're pushing back through your heel. And then if your hip is lifted, just lower that outer left hip down towards the floor. Draw in the bellies, flatten out the back, staying there or lifting your right hand as well. So 3 breaths, full inhalations and exhalations as well. Really engaging that pelvic floor as you exhale. And then we'll bring right hand back to the floor if you've lifted it. Left toes come down, and this time it's the right toes that come out to the edge of the mat. Left heel comes down onto the floor. And again, option to use a block under that hand as you come up into our next pose. So try and stack your right hip over your knee. So if you're in that sort of positions, try and slide your left foot a little bit further away. Slight engagement of the glutes as your hips move forward. And then exhaling, activate through your core as you lift up through that left leg. So try and use your core as much as you can to take the weight out of that bottom hand. Lift your heel up to hip height and push away from you with that heel as well. Try and say stop soft through the neck and through your face. 1 more breath. And then we'll bring hands back to the floor, knees together, and we'll come all the way back to kneeling. So you can bring your block with you. We're going to take the block between the thighs again as we lift to our kneeling. So squeezing together, thighs onto the block, hands to heart. A nice deep breath in. And then really engaging muscles. So pulling up on the pelvic floor, maybe a slight tucking of the tailbone, front of the hip bones moving towards each other, and then leaning back. Inhale, coming forwards. Deep breath in. And then engaging, squeezing thighs together as we lean back. Inhale. And once more, exhale. Squeezing that block, leaning back, keeping length through the spine. And then coming forwards. Take the block, putting that to one side. This time we're going to step forward with that left leg. So bend your left knee, step it forwards, lunge the hips forward. Hands to that front knee, maybe moving forwards and backwards. Opening up through the front of that right hip. Keep a slight tuck in the tailbone to help get into that hip flexor on the right side. And then pull everything back. So slight tucking of, sort of lifting of the pubic bone to bring your shoulders over your hips. Squeeze your legs in towards the center as we inhale to take the arms up. And then exhale, bend the elbows, cactus arms. So spread the fingers, pull your elbows back, opening through the front of the chest. And then breathe out, strong through your core. Squeeze the legs together as you move over to twist to your left. And then your right hand can come to your left knee. Keep bending in that left knee. Left arm comes behind. Lean back into your left shoulder. And then we'll come all the way forwards. And then that front foot comes all the way back. Knees together. Fold back. Child's pose. So you can have the knees together, or if it feels nicer, you can have the knees apart from each other. Slide the hands forward. Forehead to the floor. Sometimes it can feel nice to sway the upper body from side to side. Take a nice deep breath all the way into the lower back. Let your forehead be supported either by the floor, or you can make a little pillow for your hands, for your forehead with your hands. And when you're ready, slowly make our way back to sitting. And then when you get back to your comfortable seat, I'm just going to finish with a few more of those sort of diaphragmatic breaths that we started with when we were lying down. So close your eyes. So again, you can be cross-legged or kneeling. Bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, see if you can bring all of the movement just to your belly. So the chest doesn't really move much. So as you breathe in, let your shoulders move down away from the ears. As we inhale into the belly. Exhaling fully. Inhale to the belly. Exhale fully. Navel moves back to spine. Inhale to the belly. And this time as we breathe out, we're going to exhale through the mouth with a gentle sigh. 2 more breaths like that. A deep breath into the belly. Exhale. And one final breath. Deep breath into the belly. And then breathing out fully, letting go of any tension still held in the body. And then we'll bring hands to heart to finish our practice today. Thank you for letting me guide you. Namaste.